Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. Welcome in on a Tuesday morning. A mixed decision Monday night for the locals. The Mammoth win, the Utah Jazz lose. The Jazz fall 134 to 117. They get beat, and if you're looking for why, I would look at the defense in the middle two quarters. They gave up 80 points, 41 in the second, 39 in the third. You can't win defending like that. Now, this year isn't really about winning, so there's that. And, they get Kessler back. They'll defend the rim. There were a stunning number of layups and dunks. Many of them came very early in the shot clock, just no resistance. Now, Kessler will help. But, at some point, whoever the other four guys are, they got to try to stay in front of their man. That was just brutal. Now, most of the positivity, because we are washing positivity here, was about what happened to the other end of the floor. And Keontae George did shoot the ball well. 10 of 17 from the floor, 28 points. He was 4 of 8 from the three-point line. And not only did he have his 28 points, but he had 7 assists, and he had 6 rebounds, and he had 2 steals, and he had just 2 turnovers in 38 minutes. So, definitely some positives there. And Ace Bailey had 21 points on 8 of 15 shooting and 3 of 8 from the three-point line. And he had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and a block, and 2 turnovers in 29 minutes. So definitely some positives. Markkanen did not shoot the ball well again. 6 of 19, 17 points. So he's coming down to earth a little bit here. Struggled in a couple performances. But I think the story is that they got to figure out how to defend. They did some stuff right, and that's great. But, man, 80 points in 2 quarters, those layups and dunks, a little hard to watch. Now, on the other hand, around the league, there were some other the bottom feeders that got wins. So that's good news for the Jazz. Everybody in the West has 5 wins now. The Sacramento Kings picked up their 5th win, beating Minnesota in overtime. So that was a positive. In the who else picked up a win? Somebody else terrible won. Well, I'll figure it out. But anyway, there was another team that was terrible that picked up a victory. Oh, it was the Pelicans, who are the one team who doesn't have 5 wins. But they do have 3 now. New Orleans beat Chicago 143 to 130. So a couple of the bottom feeders win. That's definitely good news for the Jazz. The Blazers are not going to be a bottom feeder, apparently. They are 8-10 after beating the Bucks in Milwaukee 115-103. So there you go. All right, now, while the Jazz were losing in San Francisco to the Golden State Warriors, the Utah Mammoth were winning at home. They beat the Vegas Golden Knights 5-1. Yes, 5-1. Logan Cooley with 4 goals. Now, 2 of them were empty netters. Vegas down 3-1. Pulled the goalie. There was like 5 minutes there at the end of the game to score against the open net, and Cooley did twice. Nonetheless, 4 goals is a club record, because remember, all the records start new when they come to Utah. They don't inherit the Arizona records. Those stay in Arizona. So Cooley gets 4 goals and an assist. The assist was great. He set up Gunther for a goal in the first period as Gunther set up Cooley set up Gunther, and then Gunther set up Cooley for the second one. It came real quick in less than 2 minutes. Schmidt had the assist on both of them. They took a 2-zip lead after 1 period. It was 2-1 going to the third, and a really, really soft giveaway by Vegas. Cooley pounced on it, outskated everybody, just blew away from everybody's flying in on the goal and scored to make it 3-1, and then he got his empty netters. All right, for more on this game, let's get to the best of the postgame show.
DJ and PK, the Utah Mammoth flipped the script on the Vegas Golden Knights on Monday night at Delta Center with a 5-1 victory, 4 goals from Logan Cooley in the contest after Vegas came to Salt Lake City on Thursday and beat Utah 4-1, a game that just did not sit well with the Mammoth, who have now won 2 straight games after Saturday's 3-2 win over the New York Rangers. Utah currently now 12-8-3 on the season, 7-2-1 at Delta Center, and they are sitting in that wild card spot in the Western Conference, tied with Vegas and just 1 point in back of Minnesota for third place in the Central. But Monday was the Logan Cooley show. He had 5 points in the game, tying a franchise record after Clayton Keller got 5 points against Minnesota in February of last year. Becomes the first Utah skater to get 4 goals in a game this year. First skater in the NHL this year to get 4 goals in a game, as he joins Connor Bedard along with Macklin Celebrini as the only players in the NHL this year to have a pair of hat tricks. So good one for Utah. They got the scoring started in the first period with Logan Cooley feeding Dylan Gunther for the goal, and Utah was off and skating on Monday night.
Cooley lays it back. Gunther unloads and scores! The Kids connect, and it's 1-0.
1 minute and 17 seconds later, Logan Cooley would get his first of 4 straight for the Mammoth, and it would be 2-0 Utah in the opening frame.
Gunther right back in. Cooley taps it in and scores! The duo goes back to back. This time, it's a return to sender. Gunther to Cooley.
Vegas pushed back in the second, outshot Utah 16-4, but only got 1 goal in that frame. And Karel Vejmelka stopped 15-16. Utah killed a big penalty, of which Vegas got 6 power play shots. The Vegas power play was 6 for 17 entering the game, but Utah's penalty kill, now at 28 for 29 in November, the best in the NHL, kept Utah ahead going to the third, where Logan Cooley would give Utah an insurance goal and a 3-1 lead on a breakaway, getting his second of the night.
Then Eichel lost it. How fast can Cooley skate? Let's find out. Cooley shoots, and they score! Logan Cooley gets his second of the game.
He'd finish off the hat trick with 4:19 left to go in the game into an empty net.
Gets to the puck first in the Utah zone. Cooley waiting for it. Cooley on hat trick. Watch! Bingo! Logan Cooley gets his second hat trick of the season.
And with Utah shorthanded with 2:17 left to go in the game, he'd find an empty net again.
Bowman snowed under. Cooley at the empty net. Give him 4! Logan Cooley gets his 4th goal of the night.
Big game for Karel Vejmelka as he stops 33 of 34 in goal, now 10-5-2 on the season for the Mammoth. Utah back home tomorrow with the Montreal Canadiens. It'll be a 7:30 face-off here at Delta Center. We heard from head coach Andre Tourigny after the game. Here's what Bear said.
A good bounce back after the game against Vegas, where we were obviously not happy about not just the score, because they're a really good team. Even tonight we were really happy about the win, but could have gone either way. They're a good team. So, but the way we compete tonight, the way we battle in front of the net, our net, their net, the speed we generate off the rush, that is stuff. They're not easy to play against. And if you look, then the scoring, the shot doesn't reflect always the scoring chance, but the scoring chance are pretty even. So we did a good job. Really like the second and the third period of Stanley's line. I think they give us a lot of momentum. I don't have to tell you I like the game of Cooley's line. That's pretty obvious. But I think Boehner's line play against 9 on the other side almost all night and did a really solid job. So we're physical, did a good job. And so I all in all, good game.
What stands out about Cooley's awareness, his quick decision-making, and his ability to just convert in some tight situations in tonight's game?
Yeah, less is more. He didn't complicate his game. He didn't try to get on the play of the week. He will be on the play in the week because he scored 4, but it was speed, simple, space behind, and when he does that, he's special.
Cooley also said that he was proud of, I guess, the way you all protected the lead, especially in the second and the third. What about the attitude and the focus in those 2 periods, or even the whole game, was different, and maybe you're seeing the progress of this message being heard?
Yeah, obviously in the second they had a hell of a push. Like I said, they're a good team. They're Stanley Cup contender for a reason. So we knew they have a say in what will happen out there, but the intensity, the urgency we had in those situations, and the way we protect the net front, even if we were not perfect, even if there's a number of things we would like to get better at, and we will. I think the mindset is always the most important thing, and I think the guys were really good. And the way they regrouped in the third, we were even more solid. We were composed, we were intense, but we were even killed. That was really good.
So for Logan Cooley, first player in the NHL 21 or under to score 4 goals in a game since Patrick Kalani did it. Exactly 7 years ago yesterday, he scored 5 for the Jets on November 24th of 2018. First 4-goal game in franchise history, as I said. First 4-goal game in the NHL this season, as I said. First career 5-point night for Logan Cooley. And as I said, second career 5-point game in franchise history. Let's hear from Logan Cooley after the game on Monday night.
But you are the only player in the NHL this season to have 4 goals. And after that second, or the last goal you scored, what was the congratulations like on the bench? Obviously, you were smiling ear to ear.
Yeah, it's awesome. Anytime you do that, it's special. But just see how excited the guys were for me too. You get a cool feeling when you get the support of your teammates. And I just think in general we have such a tight group. Guys really care about each other and want everyone on the team to have success, so it's awesome.
What was the mental process for you? I know the last couple of games have been a little bit frustrating for you to get out of that and be able to have the game you did tonight. What was that process like for you?
Yeah, I think it's a long season. I think the big thing is consistency, and that's something that, for me personally, I'm always trying to work on. Like you said, it wasn't the easiest path to tonight, but I think just finding a way to stay with it. It's a grind of the season, mentally, physically. But I think just, leaning on guys that have experience, family, little things like that get you out of it. And, I was fortunate to, kind of a big game tonight.
And the victorious goaltender, Karel Vejmelka, stopped a season-high 33 shots, matching his season high from October 24th when he did it at Minnesota in a 6-2 victory. That game included a 20-save period. Here in this one, Vejmelka doing it with a 15-save second period to keep Utah ahead. Again, it was a 2-1 game until early in the third period when Logan Cooley got that big insurance goal. Then Utah killed a penalty in the third period, up 3-1 before those 2 empty netters. Here's what Karel Vejmelka said after his 10th win of the year.
What kind of confidence does a game like this give you and this team?
Yeah, obviously this one feels really good. It's big 2 points against a really good team, one of the best so far this season. So it feels really good.
You're often called the best penalty killer, and this penalty kill has been incredible. What can you say about that group to be able to help you out, but also perform the way you have?
I think we had a really good pre-scout before the game. I know our coaching staff did a really good job, and it's really helpful for everybody. If you already know what they have tendency to do, and it's easier now for us to figure it out because we played against those guys a couple of days ago. So we did a good job, and we played simple, so it was a big key for us.
And just as a teammate, watching a guy like Logan Cooley get 4 goals in a game after kind of a drought, what is that like to celebrate him?
Oh yeah, he really deserved it. He battled every night so hard. So obviously 2 goals, 2 empty net, but it count. So I'm really happy about him, and he deserved it.
And we'll be talking all about it on Mammoth Daily. Mike Folta and myself, your daily podcast for the Utah Mammoth, wherever you get your podcasts, on Apple, Spotify, on the Utah Mammoth YouTube page, and on SEG Plus. We're with you Monday through Friday for 30 minutes or so on your Mammoth. We'll recap this game today, look ahead to tomorrow against Montreal. We've got our Tuesday mailbag on Mammoth Daily, and we will take you into the third period with some fun and our broadcast team Friendsgiving. So join us on Mammoth Daily today, wherever you get your podcasts. And a reminder, we'll be off on Thursday and Friday, so no episodes Thanksgiving or Black Friday. And we're back at Delta Center on Wednesday. We'll give you an extra half hour to get to the game. 7:30 face-off. We'll be on the air at 6:30 with Hockey Night in Utah right here on the KSL Sports Zone.
There is the best of the postgame show. When we come back, we switch gears and we start talking football. We'll hear from Kyle Whittingham. We're going to hear from Kalani Sitake. That is all coming up. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. Nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination at KSLSports.com/contest. And listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week, sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals. DJ and PK. All right, we're going to take a little listen now to Kyle Whittingham's press conference. Coming up after the win over K-State, they got a trip to Kansas Friday. Kyle looking at some big picture issues with the transfer portal as well. Here's Kyle Whittingham with the media.
Really proud of our guys for the way they handled the game on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. It was, one of those games where just got to keep hanging in there and making plays, and our guys did just that, and were able to come out with a win. A lot of offense, obviously, on both sides. Not a lot of defense on either side, but it was good to get the win. And really, for our seniors, it was awesome to see them be able to play their last game in Rice Eccles and go out with a win. And that was, probably the biggest positive of the night the afternoon was seeing that happen. A lot of really good individual performances on offense. Devin Dampier was outstanding. Did miss a few throws early, but settled in and really played an excellent game, over 300 yards, well over 300 yards of total offense. Wayshawn Parker hit 100 yards again. Bird Ficklin added his usual positive things to the game, a couple touchdowns and some really good runs. Offensive line, again, did a nice job, rushed for almost 300 yards. So a lot of good things on offense. Obviously not our best game on defense. Got really... there's no real easy explanation to it. I mean, we just did not play the run game in any way, shape, or form with any consistency, with any degree of, it just wasn't good. And, we were doing everything we could do wrong, we did. We didn't fit the run gaps like we're supposed to. We didn't tackle like we usually do. We weren't as physical as we usually are in the front seven. So a lot of things that were just, just happened. And I guess that happens on rare occasions. But I got no doubt that those guys will bounce back this week. And they're a prideful group and have a lot of competitiveness in them. And so we'll hopefully get that thing turned back around and where it should be for this week. Kansas, got a road trip to Kansas to finish off the regular season. A lot like the team we just played, personnel-wise, physical, got some athletic guys. And so there's a lot of carryover from the last few games. There's a lot of carryover in this game from both sides of the football schematically that, things that we've seen. And so we got to be ready. It's a Friday kickoff, so a short week. Got one day less to prepare, as do they, so there's no advantage one way or the other there. But looking for the opportunity to win a 10th game in the regular season, which I can't remember the last time we were able to do that, but it's been a few years, I believe. So anyway, questions?
Got Justin's question here.
Okay.
Last one of the year. After this historic win on Saturday, congrats on this historic win on Saturday. Joe Jackson, though, broke multiple records by 293 yards at Rice Eccles Stadium. Do you have a plan that will rectify this issue as we take on the Jayhawks this Friday?
We sure hope so. And yeah, he did a lot of damage, and it was really on one play, A-gap power. Just a basic, one of the most basic plays in football. There was nothing elaborate about the schemes, nothing that took us by surprise. Again, we just didn't fit the run game up at all, and it was an historically bad day defending the run. So yeah, we certainly got to have a better answer than we had last week.
And then after the game, you kind of showed some rare emotion there. What
yeah.
was it about was it the moment, the way that game transpired, or what kind of brought that up?
Not really. It's just the seniors, and you want them so badly to go out on a positive note and have a. They've been so instrumental to our success for a lot of years, that group, and have provided such great leadership this year and been so, just have done such a great job of keeping things on track, and just wanted them to be able to go out the right way, and against all odds they did. And it looked like for a minute it wasn't going to happen, and so they were able to do that, and that got the best of me. I don't usually get too emotional, and that did get the best of me. You're right.
obviously you have a decision to make about your future.
Mm-hmm.
What are the main factors that go into that decision? Is that something you start thinking about now, or is that something?
No, that's an after the season thing. After the when it's all said and done, and whatever happens to us in the postseason, whichever situation we find ourselves in, as soon as everything's culminated, and you have a few days or maybe even a week or two to sit back and evaluate and see where you're at and go from there. So I guess that's the best answer I can give you right now.
Kyle, you guys left the Kansas State game a bit banged up. John Henry Daly, Ryan Davis, and I think even Spencer Fano. Are any of those season-ending or any of those long-term? Just walk me through that.
John Henry is long-term. Unfortunately, it's a season-ending injury, and felt bad for him. He was having a monster game. I think he was only 15 snaps in, and he had 4 or 5 impact plays, and so just tough to see that happen to John Henry. That's why I say it all the time. It's the worst part of college football is the injuries and seeing these guys, go down, and so he unfortunately is long term. The other guys wait and see. We'll have the injury report. I don't know since it's a short week if it comes out on Tuesday or Wednesday. Usually it's Wednesday, but I don't know if it'll be Tuesday. Okay, so you'll find out tomorrow, and we'll find out more as the days go by here.
Coach, to follow up on that, you had players step up in their place, John Henry Daly and Ryan Davis, speaking of Cash and Lance, and then on offense with Larry and Creed.
Mm-hmm.
What can you say of those guys' performance stepping up?
Did a nice job, and all of them. You mentioned the guys that really picked up the slack. Creed has really come into his own these last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, and even though he hasn't played a ton, just his practice, the way he's performing in practice, the things that were lacking in spring and earlier in the season have he's made those weaknesses become strengths, and so it was very positive to see him be able to come in and really give us a little bit of a spark. Cash Dillon is a guy that we think has a tremendous upside. He's played quite a few snaps already this year, but when we lost John Henry, it was up to him and Lance to come in and do some good things, and they both did, and so that's fortunate for us that we had depth at those positions.
Kyle, at this point last year, you guys were eliminated from bowl contention.
I was miserable at this point last year. Yeah, we all were.
So can you
maybe some were happy. I don't know. Maybe some.
Can you speak to just the turnaround, because now you guys are pushing for your first 10-win regular season since 2019.
2019. Okay.
Can you just talk about the turnaround that one calendar year has provided to this team?
Yeah. Well, again, credit the seniors for not having a hangover after the season, I guess you can say. Not only do you have hangovers after after games, you can have a little bit of a hangover after a season, and they would have none of that. We started off the off season on a very positive note way back in January, and again, due to their great leadership, and they're instrumental in getting things turned around. I mean, that's the real bottom line to what the success this season really is hinged upon is the ownership that the players have taken in the program. Hey, Wes, I thought you were retired. Close? All right.
When are we golfing?
Soon.
Let's go.
Soon.
The last couple of years, your defense is the one that's kept you guys in games. And
right.
It's a struggle. And the last couple of weeks, it's been the other way around. It's got to feel bizarre to you.
It's a departure, and certainly we had our struggles last year on defense. And again, those, not to belabor the point, but we going on your 5th quarterback in the last game didn't help our cause at all, but we still played really good defense this year. I think we're probably 3rd in the league in most categories: scoring defense, total defense, all the major categories. And so we're still playing good defense, but we're playing really good offense this year. Our offense is 1st, 2nd, or 3rd in most every category as well, and that's what has lent itself to a good season. And you're right. Typically, it's when we get in those tough games. In the past, it was low-scoring defensive battles, but the offense has done a really good job this year putting points on the board. In fact, that was probably the biggest difference in the game Saturday. Is we were 6 for 6 in the red zone, 6 touchdowns and 6 trips, and that's outstanding. We got one of the top. I got to believe we're in the top 5 or 6 in the nation in red zone touchdown percentage offensively. I don't have that stat at the tip of my fingers, but that was probably the biggest difference in the game.
You had 4 guys take direct snaps, whether it was Dampier, Ficklin, Johnson, Parker. What does that do to a defense when they kind of don't know who to prepare for, who's going to have the ball first.
Exactly, and that's part of Jason's creativity and the way he game plans, and it's all designed to create matchup problems and show things that we haven't shown before, which are difficult for the defense but fit into what we're doing offensively, so there's not a huge learning curve for our guys. It's just a matter of using all your weapons to the utmost, and he has a real gift for that, Jason does, as far as putting kids or players in position to succeed and putting the defense in conflict.
Coach, you lead the country in red zone touchdown.
We do.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. What is it? It's got to be 80% or better.
82%.
82%, which...
above Georgia.
That's huge. That is huge.
Can you talk about Devin Dampier and what he showed in that fourth quarter after battling through kind of a rough game to make the plays that he did?
That's who he is. You talk about a fierce competitor and a guy that never, ever even thinks about getting down on himself or anybody else. He's always positive, and it was manifest in that fourth quarter in particular. And what a great leader he is. I can't say enough good things about him and what he's meant to the program in the short time he's been here.
Over your tenure, you've always wanted to establish the run, but this year you have a chance to potentially break the school record in total rushing yards in the regular season. What does that mean just for you personally and also just for this team to be able to have that?
Well, for me personally, I love the physicality of the game, and there's nothing more that demonstrates physicality than running the football and defending the run. And if we're, what is the record? I don't know. How close are we? I don't know.
About 180, I believe.
Okay, well, I would say first of all, or second of all, that the offensive line is really the driving impetus behind that. I mean, we got a really good athletic quarterback that runs the ball well. We've got, Wayshawn Parker's coming to his own, but without an offensive line that can do the things that our guys have done all year, that stuff doesn't happen. And so that's a real credit to them and Jim Harding and the job he's done with those guys.
How would you evaluate Jason back this season? How has he helped?
A+. We're only 11 games in, so we got one to go. I say only. We got one to go, but Jason has really been a huge positive force, and then the influx of the transfer portal guys have helped boost us as well. And then, but again, it all starts with a solid offensive line, but Jason's done a phenomenal job this year. Statistically, that is borne out in the numbers as well.
You've always struck me as a guy who doesn't worry about the things that you can't control.
That's a good analysis. Yeah, I'll take that.
But now you're in the changing landscape of college football. You're spending a lot of time and money investing in players that at the end of the year could be gone. How frustrating as a head coach has that become to you?
Well, it's a radical departure from how it used to be, and you used to know who 90+% of your roster is going to be from year to year as the guys go in and out. But now it's there's so much change, and you better be on top of your game. You better have a good list of portal guys already put together, before the season ends to see, hey, if this guy hits the portal, we're definitely going to be interested in keep an eye out for that. And so I can't really say that. You just have to embrace the change because you can't do anything about it. As you said, don't worry about what you can't control. So the portal is here. It's here to stay, in my opinion. And so you better embrace it and navigate it and use it to your advantage. And I think we've done a pretty good job. I really feel like our net portal results are way in the positive column than the negative column as far as who we lost and who we've gained.
Take two more. Kyle, piggybacking off of that, the portal window in January and last year, just with so many decisions to be made, it's kind of like you can't get a breath. But now there's sort of that dead period. Does that help when you're making decisions in terms of maybe, say, a retirement or player retainment and all of that stuff? How does that change your guys' process?
Yeah, we think it's going to help. Now, it's the first time through it with this format, so something's going to rear its ugly head, we're sure. But it seems to make more sense now than it ever has since the advent of the portal. And so as we navigate it and go through it, I'll have better feedback for you, a couple months than I do right now. But you gotta a chance now to take, as you said, a breather and time to evaluate, visit with your players, your roster, and try to retain your roster and find out what guys' plans are. And so it's I think it appears to be a real solid move on the rules committee part to structure it that way.
Last one from Samantha.
Blake has had an insane season. He's had, he's been top of PFF's coverage grades for you guys this season. Can you just speak about the importance of him in the secondary this year?
Yeah, case in point, I talk about the guys we've gained in the portal. He's one of them, Blake Cotton, and has been instrumental to our success on defense. His as you mentioned, his statistics and the PFF stuff is all very good on him, and that's just another example of a guy coming in and contributing right away, and he's just been a huge positive. I hope he gets some postseason accolades because he sure deserves it, in my opinion.
All right, there is Kyle Whittingham. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from Kalani Sitake. Stay with us. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hey, we got the Mr. Mac Utah County High School Football Player of the Week this week. It's Orem High School's Isa Naliai. And Naliai had a 60-yard TD run, a 96-yard kick return for a TD, and a 78-yard pick six. A few different ways to score right there. Orem, he leads Orem to the 5A state championship as it beats Springville 42-7. The Utah County Player of the Week award presented by Mr. Mac. No one buys, no one sells, and no one cares the way they do. Absolutely no one. Time now to hear from Kalani Sitake as he meets with the media.
Back at it again. I hope you guys are doing good. Just really excited about the game. And, we're at the last game for our seniors this weekend, and really, really happy with the result after watching the film and everything. Just proud of our guys. Just a commitment to playing tough and being in a physical game. That was good. A good response from all our guys at all three phases. And so, looking forward to the momentum that we were able to create. And we need that going into this last game. And we knew going into that game that Cincinnati was going to give us their best shot. It was their senior night, and now we're here at our senior day and our senior game. And so the goal will be controlling the emotions because we've been part of it, and we talk about it and having those guys figure out that it's going to be an emotional time for them, but also to embrace the opportunity and to go out and play their best. And so really getting over the emotions of this being your last game, and maybe even approaching the concept of it right now so they can understand it, and then let's go play the game and have fun and perform at our best. We do that, and I think everything else will take care of itself. A really good team. UCF is coached by Scott Frost, who's got a great reputation in what he can do, especially with the offensive mind that he is. He's had a lot of success at UCF, and this is his second stint. So, we can see on film they're a dangerous team, and that their roster's full of talent and skill and speed. And so this is not going to be an easy game, but we feel good about getting the most out of our guys and performing at our best and seeing what happens. We're going to need to play all three phases, complementary football, and do our best to make sure that we're in a best position for success. But, looking at their staff, I know Alex has been there for a while. He's got a great reputation as a defensive mind. And so they have really good talent, great coaching and coaches and the coaching staff. They're a well-coached team, and I know they're a dangerous opponent. You look at what's going on in the Big 12 conference. Nothing's easy, So you look at the games that happened over the weekend, a lot of tight games, and we remember being in a position where they're playing for a lot right now. They're playing for bowl eligibility, and we're playing for a lot too. So there's a lot riding on this game. Just want to find a way to go 1-0 this weekend, keep focused on our opponent, and stay humble, stay hungry, and away we go. Just kind of doing the same things that we've been doing and trying to keep the momentum going. So what questions do you guys have for me?
We'll start off with Mitch Harper.
Kalani, wanted to ask, just how your team came out health-wise. We saw, obviously, Chase, as you noted, after the game in Cincy that he took himself out, but the TV broadcast showed in the fourth quarter Bear kind of grimacing at times. How's your team health-wise heading into this final week of the regular season?
Yeah, everybody's sore. Chase has got. Obviously he couldn't go in the game, but we've got to make a decision on what's the best thing for him this week. And so, we'll evaluate that as we get closer towards the middle of the week. Bear's fine. The guys are tough, and LJ, those guys they're banged up. Everybody should be banged up right now in college football going into the last week, last game of the season, so the regular season. So we don't expect anyone to be 100% until we get to Saturday, but we're gonna have to practice hard this week. We got some sparring to do and get this team ready for this weekend. But the guys are banged up. That's the game of football. That's why we anticipate that happening, and we know it's going to be a painful process and part of it. So proud of the guys though. Then they'll find a way to get back and get healthy and be ready to roll. But mindset's got to be focused on working hard and getting it done.
Then wanted to ask you, you said in your opening remarks that the momentum was built or gained from that win in Cincinnati. And in what areas do you feel like is areas of momentum going into this final week? Was it just solely the rushing attack, or what other areas did you see that you feel like is building momentum heading into this final week?
Yeah, all of it. I just think physical momentum is what I care about the most. The guys were tough and strong. I mean, that's where you can always control that. You can't control what happens to the ball, and even if mistakes are made, we got to always bank on the fact that we're committed to going through a little bit of pain and sacrificing so we can get a win. And so that's the thing that I'll start with that. Everything else kind of works. I mean, you named them all right there. I was proud of the way the guys were able to do some things and create turnovers, take care of the football, run the ball, be physical downhill, and also run the ball outside. We were able to possess the ball. I mean, A-Rod doesn't get enough credit for what he's able to do as an offensive coordinator. I'm going to keep telling you that he's a dream if you're a defensive coordinator to have, because he compliments, doesn't have an ego, and he's all about getting a win. So I love the way that the coordinators have worked together. That's with A-Rod, Jay, and K-Pop, and the way they're able to work in harmony, it reflects in the way the players, work together on as a team in all three phases.
Next question from Brandon Gurney.
Speaking of physical play, second week in a row, your defensive line was honored with the defensive line of the week in the Big 12. Can you comment on just how well their play has been and how big that's been for your team overall?
Yeah, I think the guys are understanding a lot of what they can do up front. We have a lot of young guys that are still learning and growing in the system, but it's also good to see leaders like Keanu and JT. Those guys do some wonderful things up front, and then you combine that with what Vil and Bodie and Clegg and Tausili and Nusi, all those guys in the mix, man. You get a bunch of guys with Anisi and those guys are all playing great football, and they're doing it at a high level. And I think you have to kind of look at their coaches too. They do some really good things together, man, and it's been nice. And I know a lot of the attention goes to the linebackers, but there's people in front of the linebackers making stuff happen and getting pressure on the quarterback and causing interceptions, things like that. Those guys have been able to create some chaos, and that's been nice to depend on.
Speaking of Anisi, he came back with a big club on his hand. How limited is that, if any, and how big is his presence back in the line for you guys?
I think he can only pick his nose with one hand now. That sucks, but he's effective. I mean, you can't use the club as a weapon, but I'm proud that our training room and our doctors could figure out a way for him to keep playing. But he's effective enough. Unfortunately, he can't use that hand, but he can use the rest of his body and to take up some space. But the club is definitely helping him just be on the field and stay safe.
Next question from Jay Drew.
Yeah, Kalani, I know it's senior day and you're going to honor a bunch of seniors Saturday. What has this particular class meant to the program, and what are you going to remember about these guys?
Yeah, leadership, the overall buy-in, and then the willingness to bring their brothers along. Just I look at all these guys, and then I mean, it's awesome. I'm so proud of them and proud of what they've been able to build here and the culture that's thriving with them and the autonomy that they've been given, but the ability to take that even further and have it reach out to the fan base and to the community. It's been super impressive, and I'm just proud of all of them, man. I just love what they've been able to do, on the football field, but more proud of what they've been able to accomplish in the classroom. We've had record GPAs as a team because of them and what their example that they set, and then what they've been able to do in the community. On the field stuff has been amazing too. So they've had a lot of wins, and they've ushered us into into the Big 12 and had some success now the last couple of years, and we just got to finish it strong for them.
And then I just want to ask about Tiger Bachmeier, the role he's playing. How has he kind of handled it as far as coming in? Obviously, his little brother's doing some amazing things. Just what has he been like as far as a teammate and kind of a mature aspect of his game?
Yeah, I think he's been amazing just with his leadership because he works hard all the time. He's not, I think when you look at the stats, they don't jump out at you, but he does all the little things right. I mean, there's things that he does on the field that you don't really show up on the stats. He blocks, runs right routes, and he does all the little things right. I mean, he's not perfect, but man, he's close to it, and he's a perfect teammate. So, and it helps that he has a little brother, playing under center. So he's been amazing for us, and it's just been good to see him thrive in the culture that we have, and for him to be a big brother, not just to Bear, but to others.
Next question from Jay Catch.
Kalani, what is your philosophy on guys who may not be seniors, but this could be their final home game? Do you want them to walk?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we did that with Chase Roberts last year, and we'll do that with a number of guys. I mean, that's just we want to do it the right way. Some guys are lucky; they get two senior walks and blankets and things like that. So.
I also wanted to ask you, UCF's going to be battling for bowl eligibility. They won last week to get themselves within one game. How much are you expecting from them as they come in fighting for their postseason lives?
Yeah, we were expecting a lot. I mean, we were in that position a couple of years ago, and so we know exactly what their mindset's going to be, and there's a lot to play for on their side and also for us. And I mean, this is the simple thing is we want to win at home for our fans, but also for our seniors, and we won't, there's a lot riding on it for us too. So it's a big game for both sides, and we're going to get their best shot. We just need to make sure that ours shows up as well.
Next question from Kyle Ireland.
Kalani, in addition to getting those seniors playing time on Saturday and maybe guys that, maybe it's their last home game there at LaVell Edwards Stadium, how do you balance out guys that are going to be redshirts this year and trying to get them playing time either on Saturday or in the postseason?
Yeah, the red shirts, I mean, they're given the 4 games, and so we have some guys that are already at their 4-game max. So, those guys will honor their red shirt, and then, if we are able to, they can play in the postseason. So, so that's what we're going to be doing. We everything's been, we've been just strategic about how much we want to use them and when, and we'll continue to do that. There's a number of guys that fit in that category.
Next question from Mitch Harper.
Kalani, you've had the chance to coach a lot of good running backs in your time at BYU, and LJ Martin seems to be the latest. What would you say has been the biggest difference in him this year compared to the past 2 years? I know he was a leading rusher for you guys the past 2 years, but what's been the biggest change to where he's kind of leveled up, it seems like?
Yeah, I think he's still young. I mean, he's a true junior. So he didn't redshirt. He played right away. So, I mean, and so when you're coming along, and the biggest thing I've seen is that his comfort level with the offense. I mean, it's not he's not learning anymore. This is stuff that he knows really well, and then he's also giving some advice on what he wants and what he wants to do and type of runs that he likes. I mean, it's nice when we're in timeout and we can sit there and look at him and say, "What do you like?" And he's kind of like, I like everything, but this is, what we're good at. And so it's nice to have him, be part of that. And when you're brand new to it, I think a lot of times you're still trying to learn it and you're just trusting it. Now he's owning it, and he has a say on what he wants to do and when he wants to do it, and so he wanted to run the ball a lot, and we gave him 32 runs. So I think we can trust him. He's a team leader. He's voted captain by all his peers, and so to see the growth that he's been able to make from when he first got here as a true freshman and to where he's at now has been awesome. And he keeps growing and getting better every day.
And for guys like him, you noted he's a true junior. He might have a decision after this year. Do you and Coach Unga and Roderick, do you guys talk to him about where he's at as far as his thinking now, or do you wait until after the season to kind of cross that bridge?
No, we've been talking about him and his situation the entire year. So if you're going to be there are phases and when you want to do that, but we know he's a next level player, and he doesn't even want to think or care about that. Right now, he wants to win this week, and that's what I appreciate about him. But yeah, we have to, as a head coach and as coaches for us, we want what's best for our young men. And if guys feel like there's a chance that they may be able to go to the league early, then we want them to walk this weekend. And worst case scenario, they get 2 senior blankets.
Last question will be from Jay Catch.
Yeah, Kalani, a bit of a two-parter, so I'll start out with the first part. Do you feel like, LJ, you may have put him kind of right up against the barrier of how many reps you could give a guy in a game with those 32 carries, 35 touches overall?
You said, is that the barrier?
Is that about as many as you want to give a guy in game, or is it I guess fluid in a way?
No, he could do more. He knows that too. The question is when and how, and his body is feeling great. I mean, when you run that much, you're going to get, and he just didn't just run, he was physical. So yeah, you're going to get a little sore and all that, but it's going to feel good. Nobody was happier than him after the game, so if you give him the ball that many times, he's going to do things with it that's unique and special. And he's in the right mindset and right, right feel with his body that he can do that.
And assuming you have this game in control on Saturday, would you give thought to resting guys like that as you get the control of said game?
Well, you've been around me long enough now. You think I'm going to rest guys and give the backups a chance to play, or that's what you've seen from me, right? That's but let's take care of the game. Let's get to the game first. You can never assume anything in any game. So I heard the questions. I mean, every game is close in the Big 12, and I'm not saying that we have to plan for everything, but we have to plan for everyone's best shot. And if you don't focus on what's the task at hand, then you get in trouble. And we saw that happen with a lot of teams that took others, didn't, I don't know if it didn't take them seriously or their best showed up, and you had all these tight games over the weekend, and that's happened all year long. And we've had, maybe people didn't take us seriously. I have no idea, but all I know is I can control what we do, and so nothing's going to be easy. I can't assume anything other than we have to be at our best, and that's my job as a coach: get these guys ready to go, get them committed to playing physical style of football, and then the rest takes care of itself.
There's Kalani Sitake. When we come back, what is trending? The headlines are next.